Hey guys, welcome back to Red Devil TV. Man United versus Young Boys at home this time. Guys, this match doesn't mean much to us, but look, if I wanted to say something, I would say if this was under Carrick or Ollie, it would be a game where I probably wouldn't watch it, to be honest. We've already gone through the group. We're already through to the round of 16. So, but under Rangnick, it's a different situation. You know, I'm kind of excited to see this team play because essentially we know that some of these younger players and players who haven't played as much will be incorporated in the first team for sure. And that's what we're going to talk about. Look, listen, I think this game, I said in my last video, there's either one of two he's going to do. It's either he's going to play a semi-strong team, get the players playing how he wants to play. It was one game, we saw how it was. We had a great first half, second half we kind of slowed down. So he might want to keep that intensity up. You know, these players are going to have to get used to this pressing and this high energy football for at least a couple of weeks before we can really see consistency in that sort of way of play, you know. For us to press for at least a good 75 minutes throughout a game and have that type of football, you know, kind of ingrained in us, it's going to take a couple of weeks, maybe months. So we kind of need to get our team ready for that sort of thing. And look, it's still at a stage now where the team is still... look, everyone's got a clean slate, so it would be different. For example, if it was Ollie who all of a sudden magically just started playing this type of football, I think he would already have his team, and he would want to, you know, stay with that team and build on that on those tactics and high energy and press and everything. But with Rangnick, everyone's got a clean slate, so of course he's going to try out different players, see who works better in this system. You know, it doesn't matter who was playing before under Ollie or Carrick. This is a clean slate, and we saw that when Elanga came on. Of course, he brought on Greenwood, who hadn't played for a couple of games, but he brought him on as a number 10 for Sancho, which in my opinion thought was a bit of a strange option. But look, I think what we're going to see in this Young Boys game is, I think it's going to be a semi-strong team. I doubt he's going to have 11 changes. I don't think we have enough players for that anyway. I think a couple are still injured. Varane and Cavani, apparently, I just read that apparently they're back into training, full training, but they probably won't be ready for this game against Young Boys. They'll probably be in for Norwich. So, Norwich, I'll do a separate video for that. But in terms of Young Boys, look, guys, I think that let's start off with the lineup. He's definitely going to stick with a 4-2-2, regardless of if it's a weakened team or whatever. I think he wants to incorporate this system and get us playing this 4-2-2. You know, of course, switching into a 4-3-3, 4-2-3-1, but. I think, look, back four, I think he's going to stick with De Gea for sure. I'm not sure about Henderson. There's rumours about Henderson. I think it's Villa. Villa want Henderson. I think it is on a loan spell. So we have to see what happens there. But, look, I think he's going to stick with De Gea. Back four, Wan-Bissaka and Luke Shaw will probably come back in. I don't know if Luke Shaw's back, but he probably should be back for this game. Of course, there's, you know, these talks that everyone is having about Dalot and Telles probably being in the starting lineup now. You know, they've played a good 2 games now, so we have to see about that. It wouldn't make sense to really play them in this game, because if he plays them in this game, then, you know, they're not going to have enough time to recover from Norwich. We've had 3 days rest, and we've had quick games one after another, and it was an early kickoff on Sunday as well. So look, I think he's going to play Wan-Bissaka and Luke Shaw. I think Telles and Lowe is going to be a long-term plan on this team. I don't think Wan-Bissaka can play with that 4-2-2 tactic and formation. He's not going to be able to go up and down and press effectively and put in those crosses. He's going to have to be a lot more active offensively, which he's not already in a 4-2-3-1. And I know 4-2-2 definitely does allow that. It allows those fullbacks to get up down the flanks and around the pitch, because they have to. Otherwise, everything's going to come through the middle, and then eventually, you know, we're going to run out of ideas in the midfield and between the number 10 players in Bruno or Sancho. So of course we need that width, and that's why Dalot and Telles will play in that position, because they're better offensively than both. Probably can argue Luke Shaw and Telles. I'll say they're quite similar, but I think Telles edges it, and I think Dalot's way better than Wan-Bissaka going forward. So we'll have to see about that. Centre back partnership, I think it will be Bailly, and it's going to be one of Lindelof and Maguire, because Varane's not back. Mengu maybe, but I doubt it. I think he'll play one of Maguire and Lindelof. I think he might play Lindelof. I thought it'll be Maguire and Lindelof in the centre-back partnership. Look, those two there, who are supposed to be defensive midfielders. Look, at the end of the day, McTominay and Fred, they had a decent game. I thought Fred had a better game than McTominay. I thought McTominay got a bit sloppy in that second half. But I think he's going to have to play... Look, there's talks of course, Van der Beek playing in that position with a Fred, but I don't think, for some reason, they just don't see him as a number 8, at least, you know. We're not going to play him as a number 6. You know, he's not going to stay that far behind. He is more effective when he's going forward and he's putting up those quick passes, getting in the box and getting the goal himself, you know. But I think at this point, Van de Beek is going to be playing in that number 10 position, which is a big shame. I think he'll go eventually, to be honest, you know, even under Rangnick, because how can you not see him as a number 8 who can be effective in that position? I would love to see him with him and Fred there, or him and Matic, because obviously Fred played on Sunday. But I think now what's going to happen in this game is I think Matic and I don't think Van de Beek is going to play with Matic. I honestly don't. I think Van de Beek will play in the number 10 role. I think what we could see, which is I'm very interested about, is because in the last game he brought on Greenwood in the Sancho position, which again I thought was weird. But is he going to start integrating him in that number 10 position where he can be a bit more creative? You know, we've all said, you know, Greenwood, when he plays on the wing or as a right winger or even a left winger, you know, there's been games where he's been very selfish. And I think in that number 10 position will be very interesting because he's so young. Rangnick will maybe want to develop him in being a better creative player and working as a unit than trying to, you know, create that individual brilliance and shoot it from everywhere, you know. So I think it'll be interesting to see that. But I think, look, I think we're going to see Matic. Will have to be one of Fred and McTominay. I think we're probably going to see Fred and Matic in the midfield behind the number 10. So as a number 10 position, I think we're going to see Van de Beek, and I think we might see possibly a Bruno. I think some of these players will stay. The first teamers, he's not going to drop Bruno for sure. But I think, long term, but I think we might see a Van de Beek and a Bruno, or a Van de Beek and a Sancho in this game. But I'm probably going to go with a Van de Beek and Sancho came off, didn't he? So he might play Sancho. I think he's going to do Sancho and Van de Beek as the number 10s. And is that the right thing to do? I'm not sure, because we could still see Greenwood in that number 10 position. It would surprise me he took off Sancho for Greenwood. Really surprised me. So I think he has this vision where the two up front, the two striker centre forwards are going to be either Ronaldo Cavani, Ronaldo Rashford, or Ronaldo and Elanga, possibly a Martial. But I think he could integrate some things into the team which are quite surprising. He might play Martial behind the two strikers, you know, because Martial can definitely create. We've seen him do it. But I think in this game it will be Van de Beek and Sancho. And the two up front, I think he could play Ronaldo. It depends, because of course, you know, a lot of the time he does play games in the Champions League that he doesn't have to play, especially if they're through. We've seen it before when he's at Madrid and stuff. So he could play this game. But if to be completely honest, I don't think he will. I think the two up front will be Elanga, and I think he could play Rashford, because Rashford is he's not playing very well, Rashford, and I think, you know, I know it's not an excuse, but he still needs to catch up. I think he needs to get used to the system, and I think if Rashford doesn't do well in this system, he could get dropped, and then we see other players coming in, Elanga, Ahmad, you know. So, but I think it'll be Rashford and Elanga, Again, it wouldn't surprise me if he puts on a Ronaldo or if he puts on a Bruno, because he might want to keep some of those players on to get them playing how he wants to play. You know, it's going to take a couple of weeks for the players to really get used to it and to build that fitness and to get used to playing that way, because essentially it's not easy, but then it's not hard either. I think it's a formation that really suits our players. If we had other players who probably didn't suit the system, it would be difficult. I feel like, for example, when we wanted to go in for Conte, I think we suit much less his system than we do Rangnick. I think Rangnick's system definitely suits us more. We've got players who can play quick. Van de Beek, Sancho, Bruno. Ronaldo suits that system a lot more. He's going to be scoring a lot more goals for sure. Greenwood there. Look, I think a lot of these players are going to build a lot of experience in this sort of formation, and they'll get better in what they do. I think, you know, like we said, Greenwood, Rashford at times, they've been very selfish, and I think especially Greenwood, you know, in that number 10 role, if he integrates him in that team, there's a chance he might not play Greenwood as a striker. He might play him as a number 10 with the Bruno, because, I mean, it's weird to say, but I think a lot of players could get a lot of benefits out of it, especially players like Greenwood and Martial, because Martial, even him, I think he suits that quick football, that tiki-taka football, and I think we're going to start to see that in the next couple of games and weeks and months. So I think that's the team he's going to go with. I think, look, this game doesn't matter now, but I think, again, 11 changes, I doubt it. I think he might make 4 or 5 changes. It wouldn't surprise me at all. We need the players to start playing how he wants, and how we're supposed to play anyway. How we played the first half against Crystal Palace is how we need to play to win games and get the best out of our players. So guys, let me know what you guys think. I'm excited for the young boys game. I'm excited because other players will come in, you know, other players, and I really hope Van de Beek is seen more than just a number 10. I hope he gets put in that number 8 position with Fred at some point. And I think as the season goes, I think McTominay could get dropped, because what we can see from McTominay, I don't think, a lot of people said he played terrible, but I don't think he was terrible against Palace. I think in the first half, we saw Fred and McTominay playing forward, direct passes forward, no backwards, no sideways passing. It was forward, it was quick. But McTominay, for some reason, that second half, he done a couple of passes which were poor, and they weren't even long passes. They weren't no long balls. They weren't no difficult passes. He just went out of play straight away, and that kind of worries me. His range of passes is definitely a concern. I think his ability to defend is also a concern. He doesn't really have that ability to kind of mark a player and then get the ball off them straight away. I think where he definitely succeeds is when, if we're about to be counter-attacked, his counter-press is good. Him and Fred, the counter-press is good. But I feel like if we lose possession of the ball and then a couple of the attacking players like a Bruno or a Sancho lose the ball, when then Fred might be dragged out wide because a player from the opposition team might have dragged him. McTominay, if he's left exposed, he's not very good at retaining the ball in that sense. Now, he's good at, of course, I think that was so good about Palace. We counter-press very well, everyone, from Fred to McTominay to Ronaldo to Sancho. McTominay and Fred are just liabilities when they're getting pressured on, which makes sense. You know, when you're exposed and most of the attacking team is not defending, they're going to struggle. But that's, you know, we've seen players in those positions who can retain the ball, and McFred really struggle to in those positions when they're being counter-attacked or left exposed because the attacking players are not helping out enough, or they've just also been exposed themselves. So, guys, I'm excited for this game. Please let me know what you guys think. Score, I think we're going to batter them, to be honest. I think Ranić, this is going to be a good game to really getting the players used to his system. I'm going to say 3-0. I think 3-0. So, guys, let me know what you guys think. Please make sure to like and subscribe, and I'll talk to you guys later.